right, we back for some more Witch on the Holy Night because one, I ran out of recording material, and two, it's always this kind of VN where I couldn't even take this seriously sometimes. I mean, I haven't recorded in probably a week or two. It's probably a while. Witch on the Holy Night, as within like English localization, we call it the bitch on the Holy Night. This is what as mentioned in chat. All right, let's go. I mean, the last time was reading through chapter 1.5 archives. Now this is chapter 2. When is the city ever strange? Sojiro sighed listlessly. He looked down at the winter schoolyard below, lost in thought. December, quote unquote, was written on the corner of the chalkboard. Oh boy, you gotta love the winter season. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. Wait, we just time skipped? Just feels like last chapter feels like few days. Now you're telling me there's a bigger time skip than that? The last vestiges of autumn had faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. Fourth period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on, yapped on. While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Lacking even the basic understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojiro to keep up. Even if he was unable to grasp all of the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his thoughts was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but yes, self-disciplined, in which he should be, but it's not for everyone. Troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class today. Sojiro could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark too. So boring that it's a resident sleeper. Sojiro did not share his classmates' opinions about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoyed his class time. Yeah, I mean, it's none of their concern. I don't know. He seems pretty milquetoast neutral when it comes to school. I don't know. Anytime like when students attend school, it's either like they be a nihilist about it and didn't want to bother be tuned in, or a lot of times it's it's just rather get their classroom done and GTFO. No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed. Jeez. I made him depressed, oh gosh. He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic ticks of the chalk were sending him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet he was still unable to focus on the class. Yes, screw school. Sojiro reflected silently, as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous night were the only thing could be. With the chime to signal the end of class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. The tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson was the start of lunchtime, the highlight of school life. Mizaki High's cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality of food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school went unheeded. And the same quote-unquote unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of students to opt for boxed lunches instead. Oh, wow. Imagine how mid the food is to the point you might as well cook at home. Or better yet, might as well go to a local store and buy food then. Sojiro's class 2C was no exception. The boys muscled as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables of 2 or 3 desks with practiced ease and started chatting within their cliches, or whatever the hell. Not a single student even wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Where both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Well, you seem surprised. Sojiro was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period.
Oi! Kochiko Shizuki!
The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. Of course, just have to deal with that weirdo. Hosuke Kinomi was beckoning him over while leaning back in his chair in a way that looked like he could fall backward at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting on anyone's bad side. Though something could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time, too.
飯にしようぜ、飯。俺さ、昨日店の残り物もらいすぎたんだよ。春巻きだよ、春巻き。それを見た親父がさ、もらったもんは残すなってうるさくてさ。
Yeah, who wastes...
春巻きしかねえんだわ。
Yeah, who wastes food? It seemed his endgame was to find someone who might take pity on him and trade him for something better. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he was one of the few people Sojiro knew before starting school. He was also the reason Sojiro was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase, can't live with them, can live without them, quote unquote.
Yeah. いいな、しずきも来いよ。今日は待ちに待った缶詰祭りをすっからさ。
Is canned food festival seems like another word for food drive thing? I don't know. I don't know what he meant by that.
誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか？実際。
バカ、すげえ楽しいってきっと。そりゃパチモン臭いけど、カニ缶とか食い放題なんだぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
Oh boy, I love spam. Oh gosh. Okay.
マジ？やったー！俺も参加する！コンビーフは一人一個？それとも早い者勝ち？
お前な、一人で何個も食えるもんじゃねえぞあれ。 うまいのは最初の1個だけだって。しずきたちが来るならノルマは1人7個に下がるのか。助かるな。
ところで木の実の弁当の中身なんか缶詰より硬そうじゃね？
Harder than the cans. Wow. We already know what's more harder than that, though. The boys usually pass the time by making fun of each other's lunches, but today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They had all been taken from the pantry of a certain student's house, and the expiration dates on them had all been scribbled out with a marker.
よし、やろうども。各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな。食べるも地獄、残すも地獄。我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐れぬ修羅となり、鉄の悪魔どもを平らげん。
Damn. Y'all are eating canned food? And I thought Chef Boyardee was already bad enough. Oh wait, that's a different canned food that I mentioned. You know what? Never mind.
食材は下町の何でも紹介。マーケット中山からの提供です。
ヒュー、バカも休み休み、イエーイ。
The boys united as one and hoisted their can openers into the air.
ほら、しずきも食べようぜ。缶切りならまだあるからさ。いや、君らの弁当の毒味はごめんだって昨日言ったはずだ。
Yeah, what if I'm eating garbage?
それに、その缶詰半分以上、賞味期限切れてるだろう。なんだよ、釣れねえな。
You may never know if you get food poisoned. Quite an inexplicably excited group of guys. Their real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain. Oh god. But moved by their energy and conceding defeat, Sojiro got up from the seat and joined them. Oh god, okay. And before he could...
じゃあ、私たちが釣り上げようかな。しずきくん、あんなの放っておいて一緒にどう？
Another interested party joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She had also tried to get Sojiro to join the track and field club several days earlier. Man, he's getting gaslit into joining a sports club in exchange of good food.
いや、そっちも遠慮したいな、できれば。
He answered with a troubled look on his face. On their table was nothing but a pile of fruit Sojiro had never seen before.
なんで？パパイヤとか嫌い？マンゴーもあるし、ヤシの実だってあるし、内緒だけど、夕張メロンもあるんだから。
Oh, he's getting forced into eating fruit? Okay. The members of the fruit group pumped their fists in unison at that last delicacy.
待て、なんだヤシの実って、あれ食えるもんなの？あ、マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
バカ、肉食え肉。そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞ、お前ら。
Man only cares about protein and nothing else. Sojiro couldn't keep track of all of the voices flying across the room.
わかるのは、どっちも破滅的だってことだけだ。
It does remind me of the one meme on X, formerly Twitter, is like, oh gee, the moral choices, which lunch group to sit with. That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interaction, he was unable to judge when it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost little lamb on the shoulder.
ほっとけほっとけ。いちいちここのバカどもに付き合ってちゃ人生台無しだ。適当に流しとけばいいんだよ。ほら、お前らもな、善良な羊を悪の園に引きずり込んでんじゃねえよ。
Wow, that's a one way to say, oh, it's okay to say no. Like, as if it's ever gonna work in most scenarios. Worst case scenario, some people will get, like, annoyed at you when you decline the offer. And an inappropriately loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind him. I don't know. Or you can be annoying with the meme, but to be like, nuh-uh, type of stuff.
副会長
Sojiro turned around to see a boy about a head taller than him. His long hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it an appealingly windswept look. His attractive features belied the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking Sojiro, he was an extremely attractive boy, capable of captivating anyone who as so much as glanced at him. In most cases, such a boy's presence would be met with awe and respect. However,
なんだよ副会長様のお出ましかよ。てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
へへへ。ここは見ての通り、ボンクラどもが集う貧民街でございますよ。王子はほら、A組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない。
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。青子女子といい、飛び丸殿下といい。しずき、なんかヤバいことしちゃったのか。
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。ちょっとそれ以外のルール破るだけで。
gee, I wonder.
ってことはやっぱり築地くん、青崎に振られてからそっちに走ったって本当だったのね。
They continued to give him a hard time. Sojiro could not help but feel sorry for him. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice.
相変わらず無駄に元気があって結構じゃねえかてめえら。そんなに活力たぎってんなら冬季特別清掃班にだって参加できるよな。おい、今んところ自主的に申し出てるのは全校で一人しかいねえんだ。西全員が参加すりゃ俺も青崎も肩の荷が下りるってもんなんだがよ。
The menacing growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boy's well-constructed looks. Both Team Canned and Team Fruit's words were doused like a fire being smothered. This was partially due to their fear of the boy, but mostly due to their fear of the special winter cleaning team. Oh no, not cleaning! Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building and mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous two student councils. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially ruin 3 whole days of your winter break. Well, that's a bullshit. and forget about any compensation in the form of extra credits. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer. Damn, you get like no sort of payment in return. What the hell? That's 3 days worth of my fucking free time.
いや僕らちょっと体弱いんでスミッチョで缶詰食べてますね。
私たちも貧血気味でこうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか、冬休みはもう予定いっぱいっていうか。
All of the students but one scuffled away.
よし、昼食はやっぱり静かにやらねえとな。1年坊主の教室より2年の教室の方がやかましいなんて苦情、いい加減にしやがれよ、アホども。
That weird look on his face every time. The mob meekly scurried away. Sojiro turned to join them, but as he did...
あ、お前はこっちだ、宗次郎。ちょい顔貸せ。
So, what? Why are you dragging my ass? You want me to help with your, like, fucking... cleaning chores? Is that why? The hand on his shoulder held him in place. Oh, well. To be fair, though, Sojiro tried to run away. He would have beated his ass.
だよ生徒会応募。人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図してほしくねえよな。
Kinomi cursed him under his breath to his friends the second the vice president turned to go.
はあ？上等じゃねえか、木の実。いいぜ。お前が記念すべき2人目だ。冬休み、首を洗って待ってやがれ。
The vice president must have heard everything Kinomi said because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jamming it in his eye.
はあ？何言ってんですかあいつ。あれ自主的なイベントじゃん。いくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね。
The problem child of Class C laughed merrily.
そりゃ昨日までの話だ。会長の提案が学校側に受理されてな。本日付で生徒会役員は強制力のある推薦権をもらえたんだよ。
Really?
特に会長と副会長の推薦は絶対だ。拒否した場合、学校側はともかく青崎が何するか俺には止められねえから、そのつもりでな。
Damn. You mean to tell me vice president isn't gonna do anything to calm her down?
げえそれ事実上の死刑宣告じゃ。生徒会マジ応募。
Kinomi's terrified shrieking continued behind him as the vice president and Sojiro left the classroom. Yeah, I know. 23 minutes in and I'm dealing with... I don't know. That's a good question. What am I supposed to do 23 minutes in and hearing some brain dead morons?
あんたも割と暇なんだな、副会長。
The two entered the empty student council room. Mizaki High's student council had the use of two rooms. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The two students sat across from one another. Tobimaru Tsukiji. He was the son of the chairman of Mizaki High School and the vice president of its student council. Like Sojiro, he was in his second year and first met the transfer student a week earlier when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the student council. Well, ain't that a chore. Son of the chairman of Mizaki High School. Yep. Rich guy.
副会長はやめろって。クソったれな話だが、俺は所詮会長の犬だからな。
Calling you that? Call you what? Oh, vice pres. Isn't that what he was referred to? I mean, is that part of your job anyway? As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. The 100-calorie energy bar sacrificed flavor for efficiency, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky. He's trying to eat a 100-calorie granola bar. Oh god. Why am I not surprised? Look at this dude.
そうか。でも犬は良くないな、飛び丸。
Being a dog isn't exactly a good thing. Sojiro sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face.
あ？犬がどうしたって？
犬は良くないって言った。例えが違う気がするし、何より怖いぞ、あれ。
Define scarier, because there are different breeds of dogs, though. Just a FYI. Unless you're talking about those big ass looking dogs, like within like fiction or something like that down the line.
なんだよ。山奥育ちのくせに犬が怖いのか？
You're still afraid of dogs? I thought you grew up in the mountains like the Giga Chad you are.
そりゃ大抵の生き物は怖いけど、犬は別格だ。徒党を組んだ野犬ほど始末に負えないものはない。
Okay, wild dogs.
足の速さも脅威だけど、何より執念深すぎる。
Wild dogs, wolves, even though wolves are technically fall into the similar category.
坂だろうと追いかけてくるし、最後の一匹になるまで引かないんだぞ。
Well, yeah, the man be done with his granola bar, and now he's gonna dig into the tasty stuff. Sojiro opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautifully made triangular rice balls.
ショックだ。
Look at what?
ショックって何が？
いや、そんなこの世のものとは思えない握り飯を見たのは初めてだ。思わず絶句しちまった。
それどっちなんだ？
Can't even tell that this is positive critique or not.
褒めてるんだよ、バ
God,
カ。
I'm trying to compliment. I can't even tell by tone, that's why. Yeah, you can't blame him. Sojiro was always confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemisms and subtle sarcasm were often lost on him. Well, we already know what online sarcasm go. It can be another thing for misinformation. And before I get canceled for making a statement like that. Often lost on him. It was only on rare occasions, like this one, that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had come to suspect that Sojiro had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところでその固まった小麦粉みたいなの美味しいのか？
Sojiro stared at the energy bar with a curious look on his face. Man, boy is looking at the vice pres with that off-brand energy bar that probably cost like under $1 or something. Well, it did say energy bar. So it's like, it ain't a granola bar or like one of those like store brand granola bar or whatever, like a chewy one, just energy bar. Like, okay.
まずくはねえが、うまくもねえよ。まあ、試してみる分には止めねえが。人間、何事も手間暇惜しむようになっちゃおしまいだぜ。ことが三大欲求ならなおさらだ。
It's not meant to taste good. Well, at this point, it sounds like you're eating dirt. Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, but put another one on the table and grabbed one of Sojiro's rice ball. He just fucking grabbed his food. Holy shit! What the fuck, dude? It's like, yeah, the bar I ate tastes like didn't really taste good. All it does is help me keep awake. So I'm just gonna just grab your food for the time being. Sojiro failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the pre-offered energy bar a try.
なんだか土を食べてるみたいだ。
What the fuck? That's exactly what I just described.
違いない。遊びをなくせば人生こんなもんだって見本だな。
Out of principle, Sojiro labored over his energy bar, cringing all of the while. I mean, to be fair, if I had... He was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished. I guess, like, it depends on the value. If it's gonna taste good, it better taste good, damn it.
今無理に平らげる必要はねえぞ。そいつの利点は携帯食ってところだからな。素で味気ないが、食えるうちは味が落ちないのがいいところだ。まあ、そっちはともかく。どうだ？少しは慣れたか？
How things work around here. I mean, you're the only one sitting across and talking to Sojiro.
ああ、飛び丸や青崎が気を使ってくれているからね。
Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Sojiro's carefree smile. What is this smile that cringe to you? My God. I guess he's rather focused on his stoicism. As absent-minded as Sojiro might have been, his expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison to someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru.
だから青崎は来ねえんだよな。
She thinks it's like a complete waste of time for her to deal with his ass. He took a bite from the rice ball to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice had managed to maintain its freshness, startling Tobimaru.
ん？いや待て。気を使ってんのは俺だけじゃねえか。青崎なんて、お前が転入した日に彼迷惑だから見張ってて。の一言だけだぞ。
Define annoying.
なんでそこで君が怒るんだ？
I mean, Tobimaru got annoyed of his carefree smile earlier, so I guess that's technically getting annoyed.
いや、だからだな。 お前が学校になれるよう陰ながら見守ってんのは俺で、青崎は生徒会室で全校生徒の弱みを集めてるだけって話だ。面倒な苦労してんのは俺だけじゃねえかって。
He's the one I keep. Huh. Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. Sojiro, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get this upset over. He's like, why am I doing the dirty work?
まあいいさ。青崎に言いつけられなきゃこうなることもなかったしな。知ってるか、あいつどうして俺にこんな役させたと思う？
No.
副会長だからだろ。
Tobimaru's handsome face went dark.
あのな、
So stupid.
どうして副会長が転入生一人にかかりっきりにならなくちゃいけねえんだよ。チェ、いいぜ。機会があったら青崎本人に聞いてみな。あいつの本性がわかるからよ。
What do you mean asking her directly? Like, she's so jaded. Whenever he tried to talk with her. He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. He took like 2/3 of his food without giving a fuck. There it was again. Rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth. A morsel that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than haphazardly clumped into a ball.
そして何よりこの塩加減、中の具から染み出した厳妙な醤油加減はどうだ。食欲をそそるどころか脳を食欲だけにするような。おお。
This dude is low-key having an orgasm over the rice ball right there. It's like, yeah, he definitely took his food, but it's just, oh, wow, okay.
飛び丸、思ってることが口に出てるみたいだけど。
あ、いや、それほどのショックだったってわけだ。
That look on his face, he's like, man, why do you gotta take my food?
なあ、その字。これ具はなんだ？
It was only natural to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had not yet reached his center.
ああ、それはイナゴ。
Grasshopper?
ありえねえ。
The vice president choked on his cough. He had assumed that Sojiro would prefer earthly ingredients instead of seafood on account of his mountain life, but he never expected he would use grasshoppers. I mean, grasshoppers has protein in it, so I don't know. Not once have I seen a real dude eat a rice ball filled with bugs. Especially described in this within fiction right here.
くそ、食う前に言えよな。信じられねえぐらいうまいと思っちまったじゃねえか。
Oh, you should have warned me first. You fucking ate his food without consent, though. You should have.
ああ、今のは嘘だよ。
Oh, he was fucking with him. They locked eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭。いくらなんでもイナゴはね。
Oh boy. I love getting debated. Shocker.
おお、そうだよな。いや、安心した。いくらなんでもイナゴはねえよな。
Okay, if they put bugs in a rice ball, I wouldn't be surprised because I've seen vegan burgers before, so. It's like, oh, plant-based burgers.
ああ、こんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に入るもんか。
God, this part of the writing makes me dumb. As curious as those words were, Tobimaru decided to let them go.
たく、どっちにしても冗談きついぜ。危うく吐き出すところだったじゃねえか。らしくねえぞ、宗十郎。
You did take his food, after all.
君が青崎の悪口を言うからだ。
Sojiro closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice ball. He's like, "Hey, man, you're the one eating my food, so don't be mad about my girl." Tobimaru watched incredulously as Sojiro made no attempt to hide his disapproval.
おい、今のはさすがに聞き捨てならねえぞ。俺が青崎の悪口を言ったから意種返しをしたと、そういうことか。
Sojiro continued chewing. The country boy's silent protest said all that needed to be said. The vice president suddenly looked like he had been struck by lightning.
なんてこった。お前、まさか青崎に惚れてんのか？そうなのか？そうなんだな。おい、眠ってねえで起きろ。
Damn. Damn, you got... This is NTRAO. I didn't know Tobimaru was getting cucked. Damn, Nasu, what the fuck were you smoking? Tobimaru flew out of his chair and violently shook Sojiro by the shoulders. Damn, he's gonna steal his girl? Sojiro opened his eyes.
そうか。お前は1年前の惨劇を知らないんだな。
What do you mean?
知ってりゃ、そんなストレートな破滅願望を持つこともなかったろうに。
君の言葉には誤解が含まれてるけど、それは後にする。それより、1年前の惨劇って？
ん？
Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after a moment's thought.
仕方ねえ。この手の噂をするのは好きじゃねえんだけどな。
Tobimaru reassured himself that it was in Sojiro's best interest as a young man to know.
あれは青崎がまだ1年の頃の話だ。あの頃はみんな入学したばっかりで、青崎がどんな性格か誰も知らなかった。あいつ、外見は文句なしに美人だからな。
See, now you're the one that's just simping for her.
そりゃ男どもは狂気乱舞したもんさ。
No shit. Little did they know that soon after they would go crazy for an entirely different reason.
4月5月はもう上を下への大騒ぎだよ。あの時ばかりは上級生も下級生もなかったな。野郎同士の牽制、共闘、果ては決闘まで。まあよくも騒いだもんさ。青崎に近寄るだけでも大変だったんだぜ。
ん？ なんでそんなよくわからない事態になるんだ？
そりゃ青崎は一人きり、命知らずな野郎は延べ100人ほどいたからだよ。一人一人青崎とランチしても3ヶ月かかるだろ。だからまずは男同士でつまんねえ暗闘があったのさ。
おう。
まあいい。わからねえならそこは飛ばそう。所詮負け犬どもの話だしな。本筋にはなりえねえ。でな、そんなどうでもいい戦いを勝ち残った奴らは列なしで1年の女に言い寄ったわけだ。青崎はあれでなんていうか、相手のなけなしの誠意じゃなくてあれか、勇気、そういうのを無視できずに認めちまうやつだからな。言い寄ってくる相手を可能な限り丁寧に断ってた。が中にはそれで勘違いしちまうやつもいてよ。3年のある野郎がこれは脈ありと見て青崎に何度も言い寄ったんだよ。
Oh boy. We already know how that goes.
多分そいつ頭がおかしかったんだ。今にして思うとそうとしか思えん。
Incidentally, Tobimaru decided to gloss over the fact that this student was also the former student council president. Oh, wow.
学園ばかりか、青崎の家まで押しかけたそうでな。あまりにしつこいんで青崎も堪忍袋の尾が切れたんだろう。ちょっと口にするのははばかられる方法で振ったんだよ。
Damn. He wrote it. He wrote out a minor character as a way to, like, make it so he stalks Aozaki all the way home. What the fuck?
結果そいつは自分から他校に転入希望したばかりか、三崎町からも逃げ出しちまって、青崎も1ヶ月ばかり自宅謹慎を食らった。
She just kicked him in the face.
世に言う血の公会堂事件だ。
The bloody town hall incident.
詳しく知りたけりゃ本人はまずいな。新聞部にでも行け。あそこの部長は命知らずだから聞けば面白がって教えてくれる。
飛丸、その具体的な表現を故意に避けてないか？
Imagine dealing with a school student stalker and the moral decision is to kick him in the face and get arrested by the police. Yeah. This is why moral laws is hard to be taken seriously. It's wild.
仕方ねえだろ。理事長の息子だろうがなんだろうが、怖いものは怖えし、高校ぐらいは無事卒業しとかねえとな。うちの女子の制服見るたびに規制を上げるトラウマなんて持ちたくねえよ。
Sojiro tilted his head to the side in confusion. Tobimaru had lost him with that comment.
まあいい。それより、なんで青崎なんかがいいんだよ、宗次郎。
He tilted his head again, this time to the other side.
おい、お前、本当に青崎が好きなのか？単に胸がドキドキ言ってるだけなら、それは恋じゃなくて恐怖だってオチもあるぜ。いくらその字がぼんやりでも、理由ってもんがあるだろう。
He tilted his head even further. What Tobimaru was saying sounded off, but Sojiro decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his own emotions towards Aoka Aozaki to be incomprehensible.
そうだな、おかしい。俺はあまり彼女を知らないのにね。
That was because they had not truly spoken to each other since the day she showed them around. Every time Sojiro tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. As fate would have it, they ended up working together that recent Sunday, but made the only idle chatter on the way and back.
けど飛び丸、君は知らないだけなんだ。時々なんだが、誰かの視線を感じて振り返ってみると、いつ失敗するかを心配して見ている人がいる。飛び丸の言う通り、ただ廊下で俺を見かけて単に監視していただけなのかもしれない。本当は俺のことなんて気にせず素通りしたいのかもしれない。けどどんな種類であれ彼女の心配は本物だ。それにここが一番大事だと思うんだけど、実際の話、青崎のそういうところのおかげで俺は助かっていたりするんだ。
Sounds like the tsundere behavior, if you ask me. His tone was measured and sincere. Tobimaru sighed with a tinge of regret. If not for those words, he could have introduced Sojiro to a more suitable girl with whom he could have lived out the rest of his school days in peace. He never went to such lengths for his other friends. Generally speaking, if it was of some benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. If they were of no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tobimaru Tsukiji operated. Sojiro happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tobimaru, yet somehow sparked in him a desire to help. It was not that friendship was completely alien to him. He just did not have many people he felt that close to. So if Sojiro had really fallen for Aoko, it was not his place as a friend to try to change his mind.
やれやれ。結局、惚れてるやつには理由なんていらねえんだな。
Damn, it's like this love is too complicated.
そんなことはない。理由なら一つある。彼女を一目見たときに綺麗だなって思ったぞ。
That's what most people would say.
Huh?
Yeah, even this guy's like, huh? He's like, what? What? Tobimaru's shoulders slumped.
なんだ、あんだけ恥ずかしいセリフ言っといて、要は外見に惚れてますな。結局見てくれかよ、宗次郎。
綺麗なものに見とれるのはいいことじゃないのか？自分を綺麗に見せる努力をしているんだから、外見から内面を判断するのはそんなおかしな話じゃないと思う。
I mean, there's also personality you have to judge by, right? That sounded like a sophism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer.
しょうがねえ。わかったよ。この話はもうやめよう。その字が誰をてめえの女にするか、俺の知ったことじゃねえし。
Tobimaru, I don't think you're afraid of Aozaki. I think you're afraid of being cucked. I mean, I could be wrong, though, because considering you worked for her. Now, Tobimaru was mistaken about one major point during this whole conversation. Namely, that Sojiro was not head over heels in love with Aoko and hoped to go steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. You would do anything out of your way in risk of getting your ass beaten? Nobody could have foreseen the massive calamity that would be caused by this simple misunderstanding.
だがよ、 一つだけ忠告しておくぜ、宗次郎。青崎は喧嘩をした相手だろうと別に嫌うわけじゃない。逆に言えば親切にしたって別に好かれるわけでもない。いい例が俺だ。
He spoke with a pained sigh as if opening old wounds from the past.
そうか。詳しく。
おう、昔な、あいつがあんまりに独善的だったんで、つい手を挙げかけちまったことがある。半年前の夏だ。1年もあいつと生徒会やってたもんだから、俺も女っつうより戦友って気になっててな。つい勢いで平手打ちをしようと右手を上げた。我ながら4番バッターも角也という腰のひねり。確かな実感とともに俺は勝利を確信したもんさ。
The fuck is this Tsukiji trying to assert male dominance because he got salty at Aozaki? He had a disdain. He had a distant look in his eyes as his words trailed off.
翌日になって、こりゃ完全に敵扱いされたなと覚悟して生徒会室に行ってみりゃ、青崎はいつも通りだった。で、以来あいつと俺は会長と副会長で収まってる。
Hey, what? Okay, well, I don't... Okay, then. Sojiro sighed at this story. He then said with an absolute confidence,
今の話を総合すると、君は単にのろけたいのか？
Clearly he had missed the point entirely.
なわけあるか。今の話のどこに甘酸っぱい要素があんだよ。
What? Damn. Sojiro tried to comprehend his story. He was like, damn, so you punched her as a way showing love?
俺としちゃあいつを女として見なくなった決定的な事件だったんだがね。
なんだ、違うのか？
Maybe. A look of disappointment flittered across Sojiro's face. Tobimaru revised his opinion. Sojiro was something of a simpleton, but there was a quality to him that Tobimaru could not quite place.
とにかくだ。俺が言いたいのは、青崎青子の好き嫌いの基準ってのは普通じゃないってことだ。いいことをすれば好かれる、気に入らないことをすれば嫌われるってわけじゃねえんだよ、あのお姫様は。
So she's just being herself, is what you're saying. Sojiro answered that he would keep it in mind as he looked to the clock. They had been talking for a while and lunch was almost over. Damn, y'all been yapping. I don't know how long lunch period would be.
もう君からの話はないか？
あ？初めからねえよ、そんなの。
You were discussing about the main girl, though, that you work with. The hell you mean you don't have anything to discuss in the first place? You dragged his ass into the student just to have a chat and took his food. Why had Tobimaru even brought him here in the first place? Sojiro tilted his head in wonder, but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matters at hand.
よし。じゃあもう少し付き合ってくれ。飛び丸に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
Oh boy, that's going to be a bit of a while, isn't it?
Huh?
Tobimaru sat up straight, having never seen Sojiro's face look so serious before. Sojiro set aside his rice ball and cleared his throat.
実は昨日、こんなことがあって。
Why did it feel like the clock ticking was more louder? He spoke solemnly. and as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before.
しずきくんいる？
Well, he's. Wait a minute. Let's. Pretty sure that's saved, right? Well, okay. Well, I will be right back because I gotta get some coffee. So, hold on a moment.